Dear students, welcome to Bagh School Biology Department and I am Sumaira Anwar. Today we are going to start lesson 7 for the grade 10 students. And the topic I am going to discuss is nervous system. So what is nervous system? Nervous system is made up of nervous tissue. Nervous tissue consists of nerve cells. One nerve cell is called as neuron. So what is neuron? A neuron is a specialized cell transmitting nerve impulses. So what is meant by nerve impulses? Nerve impulses are the messages carried by the neurons. Nerve impulses can travel very quickly because they are electrical impulses. So message transfer from one neuron to other neuron with the help of nerve impulses that are in the form of electrical signals or electrical impulses. Neuron. Although the size and the shape of the neuron differ in different parts of the nervous system, they are basically similar. Here is a diagram that shows the structure of a neuron. Each neuron consists of two important parts. First one is known as the nerve fiber. Nerve fiber is a strand of cytoplasm extending from the cell body. The second important part of a neuron is a cell body. So I will explain them with the help of diagram in the next slide. So you should remember that each neuron consists of nerve fiber and the second thing is the cell body. Nerve fiber is further divided into two types, dendron and the second one is axon. Dendron, nerve fibers that transmit nerve impulses. I have already mentioned nerve impulses. These are electrical impulses. They transmit nerve impulses towards the cell body. You have to remember these words. Dendron transmit nerve impulses towards the cell body, while axon are the type of nerve fibers that transmit nerve impulses away from the cell body. So where is cell body is located? I will mention in the next slide. So cell body contains nucleus, cell surface membrane, cytoplasm and organelles. So here is a diagram of a neuron. It contains a cell body. Here is a cell body. It contains nucleus, cytoplasm, cell surface membrane and several organelles are also present within the cell body. So the nerve fibers are divided into two types. I have already mentioned. One is known as dendron or dendrites. The second one is the axon. Dendrites, they transmit nerve impulses towards the cell body, while axons, they carry the nerve impulses away from the cell body. Here are the nerve endings shown here. So types of neurons. There are three types of neurons: sensory neuron, relay neuron and motor neuron. I will discuss all of these one by one. So first one, sensory neuron. They are also known as receptor neuron. They receive stimuli. They transmit nerve impulses from the sense organs or receptors to the central nervous system. Sensory neurons, they carry the information from the sense organs to the central nervous system. So here is a diagram of the sensory neuron. Cell body is shown here. With the help of the dendrites, nerve impulses travel towards the cell body. From the cell body, they will move away with the help of axon and they move towards the central nervous system. Relay neuron or intermediate neuron. They transmit nerve impulses from the sensory neuron to the motor neuron. They are found within the central nervous system. So here is a diagram of interneuron. It contains dendrites, cell body, axon and synaptic endings. Motor neuron, also known as effector neuron. They transmit nerve impulses from the central nervous system to the effector. So here is a diagram that shows a motor neuron. It contains dendrites that collect signals. The signals move towards the cell body. You can see the arrow over here. So the message is transmitted towards the cell body with the help of dendrites. Once the message is here, it will move away from the cell body with the help of axon. Axon passes signals to the muscle fibers. So muscle fibers here act as an effectors and here the response is generated. So here is a diagram that shows the comparison of the three types of the neurons I have already discussed. How information flows along the nervous system. So first of all, a receptor detects a change in condition. For example, a stimulus is detected by a receptor. Receptor is also known as the sense organs. So once the stimulus is received by the receptor, so an electrical impulse is carried from the receptor to the central nervous system with the help of sensory neuron. After processing, an electrical impulse is sent from the central nervous system to an organ, an effector that carries out a response. A motor neuron carries this electrical impulse to the muscles. So here is a diagram, nervous system pathway. So what I have already discussed, I am going to discuss here with the help of a diagram. Stimulus is detected by receptors, sense organs, it might be skin. So with the help of sensory neuron, stimulus or electrical impulse is transferred from the receptor to the central nervous system. So relay neuron is present in the central nervous system. Central nervous system means brain or spinal cord. So after that, from the central nervous system, with the help of relay neuron, the electrical impulse is transmitted to the effector with the help of motor neuron. Effector, for example, muscles or glands. So here is a relation. So here is a diagram that shows the relation between sensory, relay and motor neuron. Here is a stimulus, nerve endings in the receptor, for example in the skin. So sensory fibers, sensory neuron, this is the sensory neuron and this is the cell body of the sensory neuron. So stimulus moves in the form of electrical impulses and enter into the central nervous system. So in the central nervous system there is a relay neuron and the cell body is shown. Here is black, one is the relay neuron or interneuron. From the central nervous system, motor neuron collect the electrical impulses. Motor neuron cell body is shown here. So motor fiber, nerve endings in receptor, for example in the muscle. So a response is generated. So this is the diagram that shows the relationship between the three types of the neurons. So what is your written assignment? You have to define neuron, name three types of neuron and also draw their structure. Question number 3. How information flows along a nervous system? Here is a diagram. You have to draw it and also label its part. If you did not find the parts, you can take help from your Biology Matters book. If you have any problem related to the lesson, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching.